Wow, wow, wow! Vertz to Liverpool. Vertz to Liverpool! This can't be happening! Vertz to Liverpool! Hello, I am the Irish guy. And come on, what are we watching here? For 150 million euros? You could buy a lot of Freddos with that. Hello, I am the Irish guy, and lads, it has taken Liverpool 7 years to finally replace Coutinho. Seriously. One of the biggest mysteries back in 2018 was when Barcelona paid a stupendous amount of money for this Brazilian star. Quickly turned into a washed up potato, but the question was, what saucy cam were Liverpool gonna replace him with? Ozzy, when Liverpool sold Coutinho just 2 and a bit years into the Klopp reign, the fans were devastated. They were now resembling a bunch of teenage girls who'd just been told that Zayn had cut his hair. They were now like a bunch of 8-year-olds who'd just been told that Santa had been mauled by Rudolph in a tree. How do you possibly replace a majestic Brazilian baller like him? The names being linked at the time were Max Meyer, Thomas Lamar, and Alex Teixeira. Seriously? Yeah, Meyer joined Crystal Palace instead and was more forgettable than the live-action Lion King remake. I mean, the bloke's not even 30 and plays in Cyprus, where I'm sure he gets asked for selfies about 4 times a year. Lamar became an expensive Atletico Madrid dud, whilst Teixeira spent his prime chasing the bag in China. Seriously, there was nobody to replace Coutinho with. It was like trying to replace the Queen. So imagine being told back then that the man who would eventually replace Coutinho was some scrawny little 14-year-old in the Cologne Academy, being told that Liverpool would basically be handing over the same money that they received for Coutinho for this little schoolboy dweeb who was probably begging his cousin for his first kiss. Oh wait, no, that was me. It's crazy, but they finally done it. Was this FSG playing the ridiculously long game by taking that 120 million pounds for Barcelona and placing it into a piggy bank before burying it under their bed until they actually came across an elite central attacking midfielder? Seriously, is this just the same Coutinho cash? I mean, can the Bayer Leverkusen accountant, like, I don't know, sniff it or something? And please tell me if it's things of Bartomeu's cologne, you know, the former Barcelona president. Seriously, this is such a long game. And how fitting, lads. If Vertz is unveiled tomorrow, then he is going to be signed by Liverpool on Coutinho's birthday. Oh, come on. Is that what this delay has been all about? Because FSG want to announce this mega money signing, whilst poor old Pip is a forgotten elf blowing out candles on his 33rd birthday cake in some lonely Qatari village. Seriously, this former Brazil megastar is all alone in Qatar and can probably be found most mornings in the same coffee shop trying into a cheese toasty. You are going to sign Vertz on Coutinho's birthday. Oh, this feels unnecessarily cruel. It feels a bit like getting married in your ex-wife's back garden. Lads, this is a big boy signing. I get why Liverpool fans are thrilled, because in terms of hype, this is the most exciting transfer the Reds have made since Luis Suarez, or maybe even Fernando Torres. I mean, yeah, Thiago Alcantara from triple-winning Bayern Munich was obviously a huge coup, but I think everyone also realized that the Spanish baller was nearly 30, and his body was clearly held together by breadcrumbs. I mean, Mo Salah turned out to be a world-class signing from Roma, but he didn't have the height that Vertz has now. And I know Van Dijk was big, but who really gets that excited about a centre-back? No, Vertz just helped Bayer Leverkusen go nearly 50 games unbeaten. He was the best player for the surprise package in Europe. 18 goals and 20 assists for a club who nearly won the treble. One of the most extraordinary seasons any football club has ever had. I mean, the previous season they were in a relegation scrap, while Salah had already been a Chelsea flop. He was a £34 million signing who Klopp didn't even want. Lads, you just turned Vertz into the 3rd most expensive footballer ever. Okay, I know a big chunk of that is add-ons, but still, if you choose to just delete PSG's freakish summer of 2017 when they lost their minds, if you just delete that weird summer from the equation, then nobody has ever written a bigger paycheck for a footballer than Liverpool. Seriously, it's been 8 years since anyone has ever paid this much money for a footballer, and people have been wanting to moan about the Liverpool owners. Honestly, lads, if any one of you thought that FSG were a bunch of tight book Scrooges with no care for the club, then you need to send them an apology. Honestly, send John Henry's mum flowers in the post or something, because this is epic behavior. People have been saying that this Liverpool ownership are so tight that they probably give trick-or-treaters apples on Halloween because they can't be bothered to splash out for a jumbo bag of Milky Ways. But no, this isn't even the club's first £100 million bid, because they agreed a £111 million deal with Brighton 2 summers ago for Caicedo. Yeah, I said Caicedo! A few months ago, it was apparently crisis central at Anfield, and fans were actively saying that their Premier League title-winning season was being spoiled by the uncertainty around the contracts, and how it was dragging on and on and on and on like Grey's Anatomy. You're telling me this ownership was able to successfully renegotiate new deals for Van Dijk and Salah, which can't be easy work when you're dealing with absolute world stars. But no, your stingy ownership apparently managed to give them 350,000 and 400,000 pound week wages. The only failing was Trent Alexander-Arnold dipping for Real Madrid, but I really doubt that was the Liverpool owner's fault. It's just he was booed by Jude, promised romantic picnics in Madrid. And let's be real, the Liverpool owners actually did pretty well to somehow get 10 million pounds for someone who's out of contract. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. Not only that, but Liverpool have gone and splashed nearly 200 million pounds by mid-June. Lads, do you know how easy it is for Premier League title winning clubs to just relax? I've seen so many title winning teams just rest on their laurels that summer, putting their feet up simply because they won the league. Even the filthily rich who love spending money. I mean, look at these champions of the past. Manchester United in 2009 sold Ronaldo for a world record fee and replaced him with a winger from Wigan and signed Michael Owen and Obertan. Man City, after their first ever Premier League title in 2012, just lazily signed Jack Rodwell, Scott Sinclair, Javi Garcia, and the ghost of Maicon. After his soul was clearly fed to Gareth Bale's cat, champions Chelsea in 2015 signed Nathan, Baba Rahman, Kennedy, Papi Djulaboji, and a cripple Falcao. And then again in Chelsea in 2017, to be fair, they spent big after winning, but they wasted millions on Morata, Bakayoko, and Danny Drinkwater. These were not ambitious signings. They were laughably overpaying for a bin bag of chicken nuggets with absolute zero research. They put money into it, but no thought about it. It's like for Mother's Day, you were to pay £50 for a bag of toenails. You paid big, but she's not gonna like that. It would have been so easy for the Liverpool owners to just relax this summer and think, well, we're Premier League champs, it's fine. But no, this is crazy work. By the way, well done Leverkusen. They've taken nearly 200 million pounds from Liverpool this summer. Lads, Leverkusen literally stole Vertz. Seriously, back in 2020, apparently a gentleman's agreement was broken because there had been an unofficial agreement between Leverkusen, Cologne, and Borussia Mönchengladbach that they wouldn't just poach each other's youth products. Probably as a way to try and combat Bayern Munich being the big boy bullies, hoovering up talented children on such a regular basis. I mean, you'd swear their scouts had ice cream vans parked across the road. But yeah, Leverkusen stole a 17-year-old Vertz. Leverkusen argued that Vertz was viewed as a first-team prospect, not a youth player, and that would have been grossly negligent to ignore the opportunity to sign him. Well, they were right, because signing Vertz for Leverkusen for pennies is arguably the single greatest transfer in the history of the sport. Seriously, 57 goals and 65 assists in 197 games as Leverkusen win their first ever Bundesliga title, and he gets sold for a freakish amount of money. I'm guessing right now that everybody associated with Cologne is spitting into their milk. Honestly, lads, if I'm Vertz, I'm kind of scared that Podolski is going to kidnap my dog as revenge. Lads, apparently according to Bild, Vertz is going to be handed a 5-year contract worth £355,000 a week. Sorry, hang on a second. What? What? He's literally just become Liverpool's second best paid player of all time. Imagine waltzing into that dressing room as a 22-year-old kid, and you've already got a bigger pay packet than Van Dijk, who's literally the king of Anfield. This ferocious, ginormous Liverpool captain, the face of this golden age of red success. He just had his representatives haggling over a new contract for months, and after finally penning it, oh no, he just gets gazumped by some skinny kid who nobody ever heard of 3 years ago. But lads, doesn't it feel like Man City and Liverpool have their shopping list mixed up? Seriously, because Man City are making signings that look like Liverpool buys, whilst Liverpool are signing the hottest young star on the planet, which is such a Man City thing to do. I mean, Man City have just signed 2 Ryans, ait-nouri and Turkey, 2 blokes who've been linked with Liverpool for years. Seriously, ait-nouri doesn't seem like a Man City left back. No, he seems like a rough around the edges mid-table defender who needs immense improvement, just like when Liverpool took Andy Robertson from Hull. Whilst Turkey, a really talented winger, but he's not a worldwide superstar, which is why he only costs 30 mil. He feels like someone who's on the same level as Luis Diaz or Gakpo when they joined Liverpool. Really good player, but not world class. Was Liverpool. I'm sorry, but Vertz and Frimpong seem like Man City players. Vertz seems like the natural big money replacement for De Bruyne, whilst Frimpong, he's already been at Man City for 9 years before. He absolutely seemed like the obvious replacement for Kyle Walker at right back. And the £55 million deal for AC Milan's Dutch midfielder Tiani Reindeers, that really does give the whiff of a Liverpool signing, because that's a club who've always loved going Dutch. He smells like a Gini Wijnaldum or a Ryan Gravenberch signing. Seriously, are we totally sure these two clubs don't have their shopping list mixed up? And it gets even weirder because Man City have just appointed Pep Linders, Jurgen Klopp's former right-hand man at Liverpool. Seriously, There's now 2 Peps at the Etihad. Oh, that'd be confusing for everyone. Seriously, is this Linder's villain arc? Is this his Darth Vader style revenge? Because he feels so betrayed that his best buddy Klopp did not save his Salzburg job? Seriously, because Klopp now has some powerful, weird advisory role within the Red Bull football project, and not even he could save Linders from the sack. The bloke who used to fetch Klopp his coffees and Kit Kats in the morning was literally sacked on his watch. Oh, that's why he's joining Man City. Agreeing to work for the enemy as some weird revenge. Lads, here's the massive worry, okay? Vertz is a superb player. Of course he is. But £100 million plus stars are haunted. In fact, how many players have joined a club for over £90 million and been worth the dough? Vertz is an absolutely sizzling, electric sensation of a footballer. But so was João Felix when he left Benfica for Atletico Madrid in a £112 million deal. Yeah. He's since become one of the most disappointing footballers of the 21st century. He's 25 and is now in talks about going back to Benfica. Coutinho was an absolutely abominable Barcelona flop. And I know he's won the treble, but Jack Grealish has been a laughable, pitiful excuse of a £100 million player. I mean, come on, Man City have only ever submitted 2 £100 million bids in their life. One was for Grealish, the other one was for Kaká. Kaká! Ballon d'Or winning Kaká. That is the level, Jack. And you have been a useless greaseball, and I'm telling you, within 10 years of retirement, he's going to be found sleeping on park benches covered in pig poo and Burger King chips. Antoine Griezmann is one of the greatest footballers I've ever seen. But you'd have never known that after his £107 million move to Barcelona. He has been absolutely unbelievable for Atletico Madrid and France. He's a world champ, an amazing footballer. But he was a complete Barcelona dweeb who helped them lose a Champions League match 8-2. 8-2! Same goes for Ousmane Dembele, someone who's probably going to scoop the Ballon d'Or. And that is proof that he can show his grandkids that for 1 year, oh yes, he was the best player on planet Earth. And yet, another £100 million Barcelona flop. Neymar's numbers at PSG were good, but for someone who went there to win the Ballon d'Or, he missed over 100 games through injury, no Champions League wins, and never finished higher than 12th at the Ballon d'Or in a PSG shirt. Eden Hazard is arguably the most talented one on the list. Yeah, Real Madrid put £100 million beans in Chelsea's pocket, and he goes on to score 4 goals. 4. And then he retires in a huff to, I don't know, eat donuts and play at Soccer Raid. He's been so bored, he's even found time to become mates with the ball boy he kicked. It's the flair players, the attacking stars, who cannot cope with the price tags. Because yes, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and Declan Rice have been good, but it's the forwards. Only Mbappe has been worth the money. Is Vertz Mbappe? Look, do I think Vertz is going to be a success? I do think this is a terrifyingly exciting signing for Liverpool. And they should absolutely be squealing like Peppa Pig's family in a butcher shop. But when I think of this deal, I can only think of one player in particular. I can't help this thought worming into my brain. But when I look at Vertz, I see Mario Götze. Because I talked about this being the most exciting Liverpool signing for youngsters, and it is. But I have seen a Bundesliga star have this same hype before, and it was Götze at Borussia Dortmund under Klopp. Now, don't get me wrong, out of the thousands of goals I have seen in my life, Götze experienced the most joyous one. Come on, coming off the bench, scored the only goal in the World Cup final? You don't get better than that, so it doesn't matter. And the rest of his career is more disappointing than the Hobbit trilogy. But Götze at Dortmund was so similar to Vertz at Leverkusen, being that extremely saucy number 10, attacking midfielder as an unlikely German club win the Bundesliga. Yeah, Vertz helped Leverkusen reach a Europa League final. Götze helped Dortmund to a Champions League final. Incredibly awkward, by the way, because they were up against Bayern Munich at Wembley. He'd already agreed to join them the previous month in a £32 million deal. Wow, that must have been awkward. But look, Götze was amazing. That season, he'd ripped up the Champions League. The German FA were literally describing him as one of the best talents Germany has ever had. I'm convinced if Bayern had not stolen him early doors by rushing in to get him in April, 6 weeks before the season's end, probably on the desperate instruction of Pep Guardiola, if they hadn't done that, oh, then Götze would have been the most in-demand footballer of 2013 and would have had clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea, Barcelona, and Real Madrid chatting him up. He was the Vertz of 2013, a 21-year-old German star, and his career was a big fat disappointment. Come on, he only ever earned 3 caps after 2016. This guy was supposed to win the Ballon d'Or, but his last 10 years have been largely grim. So, I don't know, Vertz has a big fat 5-year contract for insane amounts of money. Are we sure? Are we sure he's not the next Götze? I don't know. I don't know if he is going to be an unbelievable megastar. I don't. But the clues would point towards the ridiculously expensive flair players not working out. Unless you're Mbappe. But honestly, when I think of Vertz, I think of... See, I'm already calling him Vertz. His name is Vertz, not Vertz. Vertz Götze. Maybe it's because they both have a Z in their name. Maybe that's all it is. But honestly... I can't get it out of my head. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Let me know. What do you think about this transfer? Let me know in the comments. He's going to be a megastar. Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ways. I'll talk to you in a while. It's banana time. Get in my mouth. Hey, a bit too much. Ah, I think I did that for much.